The WASDE report comes out every month, and it's one of, if not the, largest news event impacting the agricultural markets. Hey there, John Henry here, SSFTG. I hope you and yours are doing amazing, and your day was even better. Today, I wanted to take some time out of our normal markets and routines and all of that to talk about the WASDE reports for the ag markets. For those of you who are a bit newer to the scene, you may not have had a chance to see, or at least see it yet, but we used to trade the ag markets very heavily, when they moved, of course. These days they aren't as volatile, but they can still offer up some pretty incredible moves. The WASDE report is something that every agricultural trader must be aware of. It makes huge moves that can rip you 5 ways from Sunday if you aren't careful, and to make it worse, the ag markets can go and will go limit up and down a few times a year. Sometimes, some years they won't, but it is something to be considered. And, based on Murphy's Law, that time will be the time when you broke your rules and you weren't watching for the WASDE reports. WASDE stands for the World Agricultural Supply and Demand Estimates. That should really nail the point down as to why they're so important. It comes out monthly at noon, typically on Wednesdays, in the first couple weeks of the month, and it covers the annual forecasts for supply and use of U.S. and world wheat, rice, coarse grains, oilseeds, and cotton. The report also covers U.S. supply and use of sugar, meat, poultry, eggs, and milk, as well as Mexico's supply and use of sugar. This has a wide impact, but let's take a look at a few charts to see what it really looks like. So here we can see that I have WASDE report written on there, but if I put my candles all in alignment, the actual report, let me zoom in a little bit here, took place at 12 o'clock. Now, the way that NinjaTrader plots candles is it's the one at 12:05. They plot the time where the candle closes. So the actual WASDE report was this candle right here. Now, if we look at the size of that candle, let's zoom in a little bit closer, right? Now, just for reference, I'm looking at 12:09 of 21. But let's go down to a 1-minute chart and see, make sure we're on the same day. We're not. So let's go back a ways here. There it is. And if we look at when the majority of that movement took place, remember, it plots the time on the candle close, so 12:01 is the one that we're looking at. And if you'll notice, that all took place at 12:01. So the huge majority of the movement takes place very early on in the news report, basically instantaneously. But there is a little bit of back and forth, up and down within that first minute, and it can be wild. Now, this is very obvious as to why you should be careful or concerned about that, because if you were expecting a normal market candle to be about 4 ticks, well, this candle was, let's see here, about 43. So about 10 times as large. If you're not anticipating a stop loss that is 10 times larger, then it's obviously going to take you by surprise. Now, if you're not familiar with soybeans, every market's a little bit different here, but soybeans ticks at 12.50 a tick, very similar to the S&P. And if we take that in comparison to, that move, that was a $537 move up and down compared to a $50 move, right? So this type of momentum is obviously going to draw a lot of attention. A lot of traders very obviously need to pay attention to when the report's coming out, but a lot of traders will also watch the news report for opportunities. We can see that with this amount of distance, there are going to be a lot of trades happening for every kind of reason. Now, like I said, this comes out once a month. Let me grab the next month to show you what that one looks like. All right, here we go. Now, this one shows exactly why it's so important to know when this report is coming out. Because, well, I don't have it on the screen yet. You'll notice that this last candle closes at 12 o'clock. So the very next candle is going to be the WASDE report. Now, before this move, let's just look at this swing from top to bottom. This swing was about 20 ticks. Most of the candles seem to be about 4 to 5 ticks, maybe 6 if they're reaching, maybe 7, right? But that tends to be the average scenario here. Now cue the WASDE report. This is why I talk about this so heavily. There will be times where, like I said, this will rip you 5 waves from Sunday, and, well, we can see why. This move went from an average 4 or 5 tick move to a high that was 224 ticks away. That makes that last 40 tick one seem incredibly tame. This is the exact reason why I wanted to talk about this, because there are potential opportunities here. But don't get it twisted, okay? Those opportunities can rip you in half if you're on the wrong side of it. They quickly turn into not opportunities. They quickly turn into disasters when it jumps 220 ticks. And remember, this is in 1 minute, okay? So just, again, let that sink in, all within 1 minute on soybeans in one shot because of the WASDE report. So that's the WASDE report, right? That's why I talk about it so much. That's why I focus on it so much. Even though it only happens once a month, that singular move can make an entire month, right? It's insane. Now, even if you don't trade the ag markets, hopefully you can still see how important this information can be and how incredibly valuable, just from a day trader's perspective, this can be because of the opportunities that could align with some of these moves. I hope this video helped answer any questions you have about the WASDE reports, and if you're trying to figure out where to get those or at least where to see the heads up, you can always see them in a couple different places. First off, my primary one that I always go to, let me get it over here. That's going to be Financial Juice. Now, for Financial Juice, this is all on the left side. You've got the news calendar all here. So you'll know if it's slotted for that day, you'll know what's going on. But let's say you want to look a little bit further in time. Another really good access point would be investing.com. You can see all of their release dates. Now, in this case, this is just for the WASDE, but if we go back to the economic calendar will also show you what's going on, but you can look for this week, next week, you can zone the entire month. So as an example, all of January. Whoops. Let's do it like that. And we can see when is the report. Is there going to be a report? There's the API reports. So you can see everything inside of here, zooming way, way out and looking farther forward. Nice little resource there. Either way, Financial Juice or investing.com, you've got a couple different outlets to look for in terms of a heads up. Now, if you'd like to join me for a free week in our live trade room, you can sign up for a free trial right on the main page of SSFTG. You also get our free 24-page guide on risk reward, and if you would like to have a chat with us, you can also schedule a one-on-one 30-minute call with us as a trial member too, so make sure to check it out. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below, and remember, we do go live most trading days at 1300 Eastern, open to the public here on YouTube as well, so that way you can get all of those questions answered there too. I hope to see you in the room one way or another. Thanks, have a great rest of your day, enjoy, and we'll talk to you all later. Thanks, bye.